Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and professors and professionals, the most honorable President Prime Minister Modi ji, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, adorable ministers and managers, respected doctors and directors, all my dear friends, I Dr. R.K. Singh from USA, heartily, cordially welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice section. We are appreciating our Indian culture, language, literature, and our history behind our all spiritual starters of this holy land. And we have earlier discussed this topic at many places. What's the truth of science to spirituality? What is the area of range of language to literature? How it helps us in learning about the unknown facts of this universe. It is really important for us scientifically, psychologically, philosophically, socially, economically, politically, from the different point of views, we analyze, observe, examine about our Indian holy culture. Then we find this thing that our all spiritual starters came in India to address the message of oneness, equality and unity. Unity in diversity is the great message of this holy culture. Daily, every day in our routine, if we get up early in the morning, we spend our time in doing yoga, meditation, pranayama. It helps us to make in India to be proficient, competent speaker, listener, reader, writer of English. All the languages of the world can be learned by a man by one mind, one thought, one idea. It is possible, but how it can be possible? It is possible only by doing yoga, meditation, pranayama, then to worship, then to repeat the holy sound of holy words of our all different religions, our spiritual fathers, those who wrote such preachings, sermons, discourses, songs, spiritual psalms. Their aim, objective is that we should get salvation or emancipation from the cycle of birth and death. It is said by spiritual starters, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, who addressed in 1498, who started Sikhism and addressed to the worldly people by saying that there is the presence of Lord or God in air, fire, soil, sky and water. God and Lord created himself in the form of ray of light. Then he prepared 84 lakh species. After that ray collided with 84 lakh species and they started, vibrated, activated. It is said commonly in all the holy scriptures of this holy land, where there was words, initially in the words. At that time, God came on this earth in the form of word, but where there is not the existence of word, there is also the presence of Lord or God. We should never forget it. We should always remember. We should recall that super spiritual power of God with His image, but He is unimaginative personality, unread, unspoken, unwritten, unheard, as Swami Vivekananda addressed in his words that we find the presence of Lord or God at soundless and lightless places as well. We see the form of God in our literature in the form of returning. Swami Vivekananda addressed to the worldly people, return to the Vedas, return to your nature, return to your childhood, return to your past, return to your stories. Such was the thing in the beginning of the dark age, when India was discovered by Vasco da Gama in 1498. Before that, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj born on this land. In that same year, William Shakespeare born in 1564 and addressed to the worldly people by saying that tragedy is better than comedy. All holy spiritual saints expressed this common teaching. What? That is, we are known by our actions. Action is our religion. Rest of the things are secondary, but primary is our action. Our action is more important than our birth. Wherever we got birth, it is not so more important than our actions. What actions we are doing by our external organs, what actions we are doing by our internal organs, it is the base of our fortune. How is our fortune? How is our luck? It can be determined by our thought or intention, ideas. What ideas, what thoughts, what intention we have in our mind, it is determined. So, let us go through what is written in our holy scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, the Mad Bhagavad Gita, the most respected holy book of the Hindus. It is apparently said that any sadhana or spiritual practice can never be continuous, but a realization is ever existing. A seeker can pursue any form of sadhana, but must agree on his exclusive relationship with God. Until the time relation with another exists, till then the sadhana is not absolute. What you believe to be the path towards God realization is not the actual path towards God realization. True sadhana happens only when you accept your relationship with God. For instance, when a married woman visits her mother's place, even while performing all obligations, she never disregards the fact that she is married. Similarly, if you wish to attain God realization, then even while residing in this material world, you must agree from within on your relationship with God. Do not agree to associate even with a sant or a guru, but do respect their teachings. Once you accept that you belong to God, then all your actions will be sadhana for God realization only. I belong to God, God belongs to me. This is the true sadhana. God belongs to us, we belong to God. If the Lord's relation is embarrassed in this way, then you will not have to purposely try and remember God, but instead you will innately remember Him. In our worldly routine, we have observed that a person is respected based on their material wealth, but in God's routine, one is respected if they are related to God. Just by accepting your relationship with God, all your losses, all worries, all griefs, and all clutter will resolve. You will become absolute. It is said that the realization of God is extremely effortless, and it is also told that the realization of God is extremely difficult. If one goes by set norms and regulations, then the realization of God is extremely difficult. But if the heart has a genuine passion for God, then it becomes extremely effortless. Like a child asserts that the mother is mine, similarly, God is ours. The heart should have such simple passion. It is exceptionally difficult to attain God realization if the heart lacks passion. God receives passion if a child asserts that the mother is mine. What regulation will be applied in this? The child never deems if he is qualified or suitable. By the virtue of his affection, he fondly and completely dominates his mother. Similarly, God is mine. simply accept this. If the child cries, the mother has to attend to her child irrespective of what she was doing. Therefore, simply and honestly, hail, O Lord, O my dear Lord, God is mine. This one truth surpasses everything. Without asserting any rules and regulations, one should particularly develop this single trait. God is mine. The passion for belongingness should be exceptional and foremost. Disregard every other fact. Don't focus even on your shortcoming, rather. Gaze only towards the Lord's gracious personality. There can't be anyone except God who can be ours, nor can ever stay with us. For instance, when a mother watches her child play, her heart becomes full of love. Similarly, God's heart is full of love for each one of the souls. He wants to accept them, meet them, and converse with them. But this soul doesn't even glance at God. So, it is my request to all of you that however you are, at least remember this thought that God is mine. मेरे को गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों ना कोई. If you accept this, you will never be unhappy again. There is no particular loss in accepting this, but pure and pure profit. Body, senses, soul, mind, intellect, etc. Nothing belongs to me, only God is mine. If you accept this, you will be greatly benefited. Nothing else will bind you. Even in times of sickness, you will not be distressed, but would experience eternal joy. The body might feel lethargic, but there will be eternal bliss within. Even if you develop 4 to 5 degrees of fever, you stop talking or you collapse. Even then there will be no difference in the eternal joy within. This is an absolute truth. Since all of you have come for satsang, just accept that. Regardless of however we are, we belong to God. Simply because of not accepting our belongingness to God, you will have to suffer. There is no doubt about this. At each and every place, you will take place, die and suffer. Once the relationship with God is accepted, then be joyful. There is no need to do anything else. If you embrace God, then God is happy. And sons are also happy. Everyone contents. No one can be upset because we are not grabbing somebody else's part, but taking what is rightfully ours. There is no sweat in accepting God, no fee, no learning, no reading, no memorization, and no qualification. There is nothing in this material world that belongs to us. Understand this, and God belongs to us. Accept this. Nothing belongs to us in this material world. You can doubt this plenty. Everything will be accepted. But God belongs to us. No doubts in this will be accepted. This has to be embraced. Initially, the material world is comprehended and God is accepted. Afterwards, God doesn't remain merely accepted but becomes tangible. God constantly gazes at you like a mother gets delighted when her child calls Ma, Ma. Similarly, when you call out that God belongs to you, God gets utterly delighted. Remember this at all times. I keep on reiterating this because I have developed a particular regard for it only in recent years. I was not aware of its importance initially. For example, a daughter of your house after marriage belongs to the house where she got married. Similarly, you must also embrace your belonging to God's house. Accept that you are not a bachelor anymore. We are not without a master. Unlike a wild beast, we belong to God. Indeed, you all belong to God forever. You may or may not know. You may or may not accept. Simply transform your sentiment. If you wish to experience God, then you must know, regard yourself as a woman or a man. Affirm your relationship with God, that I belong to God. If you embrace your belongingness to God, then it is a tremendous achievement. If you affirm yourself as a woman or a man, then how will you achieve God realization? If you affirm yourself as a woman, then you will only achieve a man, but not God. Affirmation of one's womanhood or manhood is also a hindrance in God realization. The distinction between a woman and a man is necessary for worldly custom and behavior. If you have embraced yourself as the physical body, then how will you experience God? Your inner sentiment only must transform that I belong to God. God realization is such, it slashes all other phony relationships. You may be a sinner, but even then you are with God. Goodness and wrongdoings don't even touch you. You belong to God and God belongs to you. If you forget this, even then this truth is as it is. Forgetting and not forgetting is in the mind only. You have held the inert, means body, material world. So it attracts you towards itself. If you disregard this relationship, then it will not attract. If you accept your relationship with God, then sins of eternal lives will depart. I belong to God. This is not a fact to ponder upon, but rather should be acknowledged. 2 plus 2 is 4 only. What is in it to ponder? The mind is free of desires, attachment, aversion, but without any sentiment of belongingness towards God, then liberation will be attained, but God will not be experienced. Whereas there is desire, attachment, aversion in the mind, but the feeling of belongingness towards God is present, then God will be experienced. It means that impeccability is related to liberation, but belongingness is related to God. Surgiva was desires, but he accepted that God belongs to him. The sentiment of belongingness is the most beloved to God. The relationship of belongingness with God is an essential cause in awakening eternal love. God is neither a man nor a woman, nor a neutral, but still He is everything. That's why you can accept Him as a father or a mother. Whatever relationship you want to embrace with God, God is ready to accept it. By accepting the relationship, the sentiment of belongingness develops. The sooner God is attained by belongingness, cannot be attained through exercise. The close relationship that your son has with you, a similar relationship a servant does not have. A servant is related due to work and profession, but a son is not related by work and profession. When the servant works well, you get satisfied. But even if the son is illiterate or inept, even then he has full right over his father's property. If you perform activities, then you become a servant. But if you establish belongingness to God, then you become a son. You must try and remember that we are a fragment of God, whom no one can be equivalent to. Then how can anyone be greater than Him? So, you must not get afraid of material illusions. We belong to God. By remembering this, you will inherently acquire strength. We are not an orphan. We have a Lord. Remember this. Just because of not remembering God, you got disappointed and disheartened. Will the Lord employ this strength for Himself? Like a mother's milk is for her child and not for the mother herself, similarly, God's strength is for us. Being a fragment of God, we are not feeble. However we belong to God. Is a useless son not a son? We belong to God, then why should we worry? He who does not belong to God should worry. Nothing except God is mine. Accept this and you will be greatly benefited. There is nothing more joyous and blissful than this. This is the essence of all Shastras. and teachings of all Sant Mahatmas. Chanting the Lord's name, bhajan, kirtan, etc. are not required. You may or may not have control over the mind. But at least accept this much, that there is nothing else except God which belongs to us. How is the Lord? We are not interested in that. However He is ours. The protector of countless universes, that Paramatma is our Father. Then for what should we worry? If you accept that God is mine, I belong to God, then there will be a tremendous transformation in you. You will become carefree and fearless. Accept that God belongs to you, and all your work is done. Not even a fraction of a task will be left for you to do. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Meditating Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, etc. Nothing will be left. The striver or sadhaka will become complete with all objectives achieved, all knowledge carried, all knowledge earned, and all desires fulfilled. He who is the guardian of all countless cosmos, that God is mine. If this is accepted, then what else is left, and how is it left? The essence of love is belongingness for those who are dear to us. We naturally tend to remember them. We remember our wife, son and daughter because we love them. We have accepted our belongingness to them. If you want to love God, accept that He belongs to you, then you will naturally remember Him without any effort. Whatever you start liking, the mind automatically goes towards it. God is mine. The power that lies within us, that lies within this, is not there in renunciation and austerities. Each and every soul is a child of God. 8.4 billion forms of bodies and other body forms such as deities, fiends, demons, ghosts, ghouls, etc. are also God's children. If you just accept that we are God's child, then what stops you? Then what stops you? Once you accept it, then most of your work is done. The state that is not achieved even after years of sadhana will be attained just by accepting this. We belong to God. We have been blessed with this incredible truth. How now? What else do we require? If we just don't forget our belongingness to God, then everything will become alright. We will experience. We wouldn't be required to perform sadhana. It will happen naturally. We belong to God. If we remember this truth, then impurities will not come close. They will run away. But if God realization is I belong to God, mind, intellect belongs to nature. Therefore, if the mind, intellect is unsettled, then what's nature's problem as I belong to God? As God is immortal, I am also immortal. Since God never dies, then how can I die? That's why the saints have spoken. I belong to God, God belongs to me. This truth is greater than chanting the Lord's name of Lord's name or God's remembrance, this is true devotion. In reality, only he is devotee who belongs to God. He who belongs to God is not an ordinary person. A material person is ordinary. Objects and actions are related to this world. We are in no way related to them. While performing any action, remember that I belong to God. Then in what way should I perform this duty? Intuitions will naturally emerge within your mind. If you will love the Lord with an innocent heart, then in what way you should be devoted? This will naturally occur within your mind. God is mine. This is a genesis for love. Love doesn't arise from renunciation, austerities, etc., but from belongingness towards the Lord. This truth is profound. After many years of delivering discourses, I became aware of this truth. Whatever belongs to us naturally becomes dear to us. We belong to God. God belongs to us. This is no ordinary truth. Such devotion is of high status. There is no sadhana equivalent to it. We belong to God. God belongs to us. We have become aware of this. Now, why will we take another bath? Most conclusive and essence of all is the fact that only God is arch. Except Him, no one else is arch. God is ever present with us. Except Him, no one else stays with us forever. If you accept this truth, then it is greatly benefiting. What comes and goes never belongs to us. But God is always present with us. He never departs. This is the essence of all these desires, all these Shastras, Puranas and Vedas. So behave with love with everyone, serve everyone, respect everyone and honor everyone. But in your heart, don't consider anyone yours. Within your heart, consider only God as yours. If you acknowledge others as yours, then one day you will have to weep. To serve everyone is arch, but for ourselves, no one is arch. For ourselves, only God is arch. You may consider God as Saguna, Nirguna, Sakar, Nirakar, etc. Whatever you believe, but He is arch. What I have told you is the essence which is not heard everywhere. If you say in front of Yamraja, the deity of death also, that I belong to God, then even Yamraja will shiver. If you accept your relationship with God, then purity and piousness will naturally come to you. We belong to God, God belongs to us. By merely uttering this, you will become pure naturally. We might be a disobedient child, but even then, we belong to God. We just have to eradicate our disobedience. Sadhana that happens by the virtue of the body, that sadhana also is not valuable. From within, God is mine, the value that this has. It's not there in chanting, etc. Performed by the body. A chaste wife doesn't say her husband's name, but does that diminish her love for her husband? Among hundreds of men, she finds only her husband as hers. Being a fragment of God, you are one with the Lord. The body is one with the material world. If the body does not appear to us, then Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, all three will become effortless. Even after these many years of satsang, if we don't accept that the body belongs to the world and we belong to God, then what have we done? High talks like a pandit once suffice. It is a profound truth that till God is not realized, until then developing a relationship with anyone is dangerous. When you haven't become free from existing relations, then why do you develop new relationships? All relationships have already become tough for you to break. Then what will your condition be if you develop new relationships? It will be an utter disaster. Formulating a relationship with anyone is the cause for downfall. Jadbharat developed a relationship with the deer, so he had to take a deer form. The words Sambandha means relationship, only means bondage in an excellent manner or in a great way. Formulation of a new relationship is a new danger. A man asked another, if I hold the tail of this mare, then what will you give me? The other replied that the mare herself will give it to you. She will kick you so hard that you will die. It is required of a striker, sadhaka, that he must not develop a relationship with anyone. Whatever relationships exist, they are also not broken. Then why formulate new ones? A relationship with the material world is the obstacle. This truth is extremely rare. Keep your relationship only with God, whose fragment you are. You accept this or not, acknowledge this or not, or forget this altogether. Even then, your relationship with God will never break. If you accept your relationship with God, your sorrows will disappear. Whatever study I have done, the books, it is the foremost truth that we belong to God. Accept this fact for eternity, that I am not without a Lord, I belong to God. What I find most valuable for all in my view, I speak that also. What is foremost in the view of the Vedas, Puranas, Shastras and Sant Mahatmas, I speak that. I don't speak against them, an error might occur, but don't focus on that. The fact that it's special for us, friendly for us, individual for us, personal for us, profound for us, respectful for us, and beneficial for us is that our relationship is with the Lord. We belong to God. There is nothing as remarkable as this truth. Even the Lord had stated that every soul is a fragment only. It is a request to everyone that you must accept God as yours. You just accept this truth and your improvement will happen automatically. Whether you understand or not, accept that we belong to God. Plenty of other facts are there as well. But I belong to God. This is the essence. That is why I repeatedly say this point. You may say that Swamiji keeps on reiterating the same thing, that we belong to God. But even after repeated emphasis, if you don't accept, then how will you accept by stating it just once? So don't get fed up. Accept God. Nothing else is going to stay with you. Reside in this world with immense pleasure. But God is mine. Do not forget this. Everything will then become all right. Renunciation, disinterest, etc. Everything will happen by itself. And as an easy way to awaken devotion is to consider God as yours. We see in the material world as well that whom a man considers as his own appears dear to him. We belong to God. God belongs to us. This is the essence. Every other point comes under this. Accepting God as ours is a liberating truth. By merely considering the Lord as ours, the Lord gets pleased. Therefore, you just accept God as your mother, father, brother, husband, son, friend, master, disciple, etc. Rama is my mother and Rama is my father. Rama is my Lord and Rama is my friend. Oh, the compassionate Rama is my all in all. I do not know any other except him. Indeed, I do not know any other. I belong to God. By holding this sentiment, your ego will become connected to God. Then devotion will become easy and supreme. Without altering the ego, devotion doesn't become great. This is a principle. If you become God's, then the relation of God becomes effortless. Otherwise, God realization will be difficult. Amongst all the difficulties faced in God realization, this is the foremost. In this material world, everyone loves just ostentatiously, but not genuinely. God is ours in reality. The dearer the Lord is to us, no one is as dear as Him. The body appears good, but even that is not ours. I have studied books. I have also been in the company of saints, and whatever I got to hear good facts, I have been there as well. After visualizing many facts, after reading, after listening, after understanding, and after contemplating, I have concluded that no one is equally dear to us as God is. I belong to God. This truth is the essence of all truths. To attain God and His love, belongingness is the main factor, and not austerity, charity, pilgrimage, fasting, etc. If you perform hundreds of austerities, wars, pilgrims, fast, etc., even then nothing can be equivalent to belongingness with God. Belongingness with God. Belongingness with God is greater than chanting meditation as well. Chanting God's name, contemplation of God, meditation of God, trance in God, greater than all of these is I belong to God, God belongs to me. The more firmly you trust this, the better your job, the better your job will become. God is almighty. He can grant everything. He can grant everything. He can do anything. So He is mine. He will help me. He will protect me. This desire sentiment must not be there. God is mine. That's it. Don't demand anything from Him, even if He graces by His appearance or not. That's the situation. Where is God? How is He? What does He do? What He doesn't do. These things are not that much required than belongingness. If He graces by His appearance, He is mine. If He doesn't grace by His appearance, He is mine. If He provides joy, He is mine. If He provides grief, He is mine. If He puts me through any situation, even then God is mine. The situation is not mine. God is mine. Remember this one truth. Fix this in your mind. Live every moment belonging to God. There are interruptions in chanting meditation, but there are no interruptions in belongingness. For instance, upon rising the sun doesn't have to illuminate. The illumination happens by itself. Similarly, upon becoming God's, one doesn't have to work for the betterment. The betterment happens itself by God's grace. I belong to God as this sentiment grows firm, likewise, remarkability will come within you and an exceptional joy will be there. The distance from God, the difference from God, and the distinction from the God will resolve by not accepting God as ours. Various and many new troubles will arise, and by accepting God as ours, all troubles will resolve. The entirety of the embodied souls are fragments of God. Therefore, this belief must be there within each one of us that we are God's beloved son, daughter. If you will accept yourself as God's fragments, then even without saying, listening, good qualities and virtuousness, righteousness will themselves come within you. Such qualities will appear within you. You only will get surprised. But this will happen by accepting your relationship with God. We belong to God. This is the essence of all truths. You may be a householder or renounced. If you accept God as yours, then you will become preeminent. Mirabai accepted God as hers. मेरे तो गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों ना कोई. Mirabai neither gave birth to any son nor made any disciples. Still even saints utter her name with the utmost respect. When this one objective will develop, that I belong to God and I will proceed towards God, then Yamraja will become scared of you. Mighty flowers will be scared for you. Mighty flowers will be scared of you. Flowers will resolve. Flowers will resolve by themselves only. No one will be able to conquer you. God will protect you until you have one objective decided. Till then all flowers will plunder you, trouble you. When a human takes refuge in a king, then thieves, murderers start to become scared of him. You take refuge in God and all flowers will be scared of you. You will obtain the strength to conquer lust, anger, etc. Whatever relation with God seems appropriate to you, accept that and become carefree. You formulate a relationship with God. This is brilliant strategy to develop love. Until you formulate a relationship with God, till then love will not arise. Accept God as yours and everything will become alright. Righteous thoughts will emerge themselves and those thoughts will be followed as well. Your body is a son of your mother, father, but yourself is a son of God. You belong to God. If you accept this truth, then your satsang is successful. Like a rich man, the son has pride within him. A king, the son has pride within him. Similarly, you should be proud that I am God's son. An easy and simple fact, God is mine. If God is called mine in such a way that it impacts the Lord immensely. As stranger has strains before countless births and after serving and suffering in 84 lakh bodily forms, if the embodied soul utters, "O Lord, I am yours. O dear Lord, you are mine," then it satisfies God immensely. God will be utterly pleased, as if God has found something that belonged to Him but was not from Him. Those who tread on the might of their sadhana, they are mere laborers. A mother never weighs the activities of her child, that if he has worked this much, then I will feed him this much, I will love him this much. Weighting of activities is for a servant, that whatever work he has done, he will be paid accordingly. People often require richness, estates, splendor, etc. But God doesn't require anything. Thus, those who take refuge in their ability and worship, perform sadhana, ponder and contemplate. They all toil as laborers. Therefore, instead of depending on the might of your toiling, you must depend on the strength of belongingness to God. Revive a chaste from the self, not by consciousness. She doesn't become chaste by purifying her inner consciousness or antaprana. Does marriage happen after the purification of the inner consciousness? This is an acceptance of the self. Acceptance has no connection with the impureness of the inner consciousness. Acceptance is of the self, not of the consciousness. If the self accepts God as his own, then what role will inner consciousness play? Will you accept God as yours after purification of the inner consciousness? I belong to the world. There is a great downfall in this. I belong to God. There is a great uprise in this. By having belongingness with God, you don't have to purposely leave the bodily practices, but it is left naturally. I am the body. If you accept so, then all flowers will come. But I belong to God. God is mine. If you accept so, then none of the flowers will come near you. If a striver or sadhaka performs all worldly obligations by believing himself as gods, then his worldly activities become alright, and so will the activities for God. But if he performs all worldly obligations by believing himself as belonging, then his worldly activities will not be alright, and activities for God, means worship, will not even happen. God is ours, but not for use, but not for our. Instead, we are for His. It means that we should not take anything from the Lord. Instead, we have to give ourselves to Him, and even in the most difficult of circumstances, we have to consider it as a blessing sent by the Lord and remain delighted. Listening, contemplation, profound meditation, restriction of the eyes, nose, ears are not required. The fact is extremely simple. Girdhar Gopal is mine and nobody else. Doesn't suit you, even then accept it. This fact is true. Do not consider this to be difficult. The embodied soul is a fragment of God. There is nothing as big as this fact. I express to you with bold folded hands that you must give importance to the fact that I belong to God. You must strengthen this determination. Nothing similar to this exists, has never existed, will not exist, and is impossible to exist. The best truth that has come under my opinion to attain salvation is we belong to God. We belong to God. If you accept so, then consider this as the best form of bhiksha or alms. Bhiksha or alms. So if you give me alms for a lifetime, even it is not that much beneficial than accepting this single fact that I belong to God. We are not going to stay here. We have come here and we have to live like we stay in a traveler's inn. Similarly, we should consider ourselves here. Even when this body is not ours, then who else is ours? Except for God, nobody is ours. Only God is ours. This is the first truth. This is the last truth. And this is the ultimate truth. After many years, this has suited me to consider God as ours. God is ours and nobody else is ours. This truth is from my heart. Except for this, I don't know much. We belong to God. God is ours. This is a true mantra. First, I am God's. I belong to God. This is like a treasure hidden within your house. Because of not being known to it, you are suffering like a poor. Oh dear Lord, I am yours. If you accept this, then that God's place. Then keep on remembering God at all times. Do chanting of God's name. This is paying installments of their insurance. In the entirety of the eternal cosmos, nothing equivalent to even a strand of hair is ours, but in whose single fragment the entirety of the cosmos exists, that God is ours. To eliminate all trouble and sufferings of the humans, there is a hunger, desire within the Lord that He calls me as His. With a sincere heart, just say, "Oh dear Lord, I am yours," then God becomes happy. If anyone considers somebody as his, then he doesn't consider God as his content, as his completely. Even if he keeps on saying that God is mine, if you have to remember God on purpose, then understand that your belongingness to God has not happened. For utilization only, objects are ours, and for ourselves, only God is ours. Thus, make use of objects for the world and make use of yourself for God. Accept that I belong to God. If I belong to the God is accepted, then let go of worldly activities Even with God's worship, you will forget God. If a married woman remembers her mother's house, that doesn't make her unmarried again. Similarly, when we belong to God, now if we may remember the world, that remembrance doesn't make us belong to the world. Worship is not constant, but the relationship is constant. So I belong to God. If you must change your ego in this way, nay, by connecting your relationship with God and becoming the same caste as Him, the realization will be attained quickly. If you desire your salvation, then only keep attachment with God. Any other attachment is not helpful in attaining salvation. Even Sant Mahatmas, develop your relationship with God. Thank you, brothers and sisters. And welcome again for listening news. Ahead of budget, CM Sandy meets Gurugram industrialists from Gurugram in a bid to make the Haryana budget citizen inclusive. The state for the very first time will take suggestions from citizens currently. CM Naib Singh Saini, who also holds the finance portfolio, has introduced a new initiative allowing citizens to submit budget suggestions online. Through the portal, suggestions can be submitted across various sectors and subsectors. Sani was in Gurugram today for pre-budget consultation meetings with various stakeholders. According to his Chief Principal Secretary Rajesh Khullar, over 1,000 suggestions have already been received through this platform. Sani, who will be presenting his first ever budget today, held a pre-budget consultation with Gurugram industrialists and CAs. The attendees included stakeholders from the industry and manufacturing sector and representatives of various district branches related to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India along with Minister for Industries and Commerce, Environment, Forest and Wildlife, Rao Narbir Singh, Sona MLA Tej Pal Kamar and Gurugram MLA Mukesh Sharma. Sani said the state will certainly plays a pivotal role to realize Prime Minister's vision of transforming India into a developed nation by 2047. Sani listened to the suggestions shared by stakeholders and assured them that key issues would be considered in the upcoming budget. He said the budget would not only address immediate needs but also focus on achieving long-term objectives, describing the budget as a reflection of collective aspirations and priorities. The Chief Minister further stressed the importance of engaging with all sections of society to ensure positive steps were taken to meet the needs and aspirations of every citizen of Haryana. Priority will be given to every suggestion shared by the stakeholders for strengthening the rural economy, promoting industrial investment, empowering youth through skill development and social welfare. Proper representation in the upcoming budget will sympathetically consider the suggestions put forward by the representatives regarding improving health services, public transport in industrial areas, and necessary reforms in industrial policy, said Sani. 81 government schools see zero enrollment but steady rise in teacher strength. Figure from 137 to 178 in 2 years report. In 2022 to 23, 63 schools had zero enrollment. Newsroom Chandigarh in 2 years from 2023, 22 to 23 to 23 to 24, the number of teachers in zero enrollment schools have jumped from 137 to 178 in this state as per a report of the Ministry of Education's Unified District Information System for Education Plus. The recently released report pointed out that there were 63 schools with zero enrollment in 2022 to 23, which jumped to 81 in 2023 to 24. Besides, there were several schools with single teachers in 2022 to 23. Schools with enrollment of 49,236 had single teachers in 2023 to 24. There were 867 such schools with enrollment of 40,828. The total enrollment in the state was 56.41 lakh in 2023 to 24, whereas a year before it was 57.76 lakh. The report says the government schools, the enrollment was 22 to 130 lakh in 2023 to less than in 2022-23. There was an overall dip in the enrollment of Muslim students in the secondary education. Girls enrollment was mere 4.4% in 2023, which further fell to 4.2% in 2022 to 24. The enrollment of boys fell from 5.7% to 5.4% to 2 years. Overall, the enrollment of Muslims fell from 5.1% to 4.9% from 2022 to 23 and 2023 to 24. In 23 to 24, there were 13,920 government schools of 14,734, 26.8%, that had computers for pedagogical purpose, but just 52.5% had internet facility. Only 67.2 schools had functional children with special needs toilets, and 37.8% had functional smart classrooms, smart boards, virtual classrooms, or smart TV availability, where 19.8% schools are using functional mobile phones for teaching. Less than 1% schools had the facility of digital library in 2023 to 24, while over 38% had functional ICT labs. A senior official of the education department said the report is being looked into. New education policy this year says Dhana. From Chandigarh, Haryana Education Minister Mahipal Dhana had said the Education Department is working at a fast pace to implement the National Education Policy this year. Dhana said to invite suggestions from universities, colleges and schools of the state as well as educationists and other stakeholders. A portal would be launched at Kurukshetra University on Vivekananda Jayanti, January 12. He said he had chaired a meeting in Panchkula a few days ago in which it was decided that a meeting should be held in divisional level colleges regarding the implementation and objectives of the policy. And in this series, a meeting was organized at Government Girls College, Gurugram today. Principals of the 374 government colleges of Gurugram division and 33 colleges of Faridabad division participated. Portal to be launched to seek suggestions from stakeholders. State to set up Center of Excellence for Planned Urban Development. News from Chandigarh. With urban areas across Haryana busting at seams, the Nancy Saini government has decided to set up a Center for Urban Excellence for a regulated urban development. The Department of Town and Country Planning has invited expression of interest for the formulation of the request for proposal document for the setting up of the CUE till January 31. The selected applicant will prepare RPF document and provide consultancy to the department in the management and selection of knowledge institution for the establishment of CUE, a concept note from the director of the department stated. High Court calls for robust probe to tackle cybercrime. Dismisses plea, says petitioner doesn't deserve. News from Chandigarh, the Punjab and Haryana High Court has called for a more stringent approach for tackling the alarming rise in cybercrime and online fraud after observing that such offences have resulted in significant financial losses to innocent individuals. Justice Manjari Nehru also called for robust investigation and stringent action to deter cyber criminals while asserting that technological platforms were being exploited by criminals to deceive unsuspecting victims. The assertions came on a petition filed against the state of Haryana and other respondents by an accused for anticipatory bail in a cheating case registered under sections 384 and 661(2) of the BNS and Cybercrime Police Station in Fatehabad. The bench was told that the petitioner was accused of orchestrating a fraudulent scheme which involved duping an individual by manipulating credit card transactions. The case stemmed from a complaint by a credit card holder contacted via WhatsApp by an unknown person claiming to offer an upgrade to an international debit card. Despite declining the offer, the complaint was manipulated into clicking a fraudulent link and increasing his online transaction limit. Subsequently, unauthorized transactions of rupees 72,487.48 were made on the complaint's credit card. The victim then lodged a complaint alleging fraud on September 22, 2024. The bench was told that the investigation led to the arrest of a co-accused who allegedly disclosed that the petitioner had introduced him to a scheme involving the payment of electricity bills with a promise of a commission. The co-accused added that the petitioner had orchestrated similarly fraudulent activities, including inducing another individual to pay an electricity bill of rupees 39,656 under the false promise of a 1% return. The court found that the petitioner appeared to be central to the fraudulent activities. Justice Cole observed the petitioner appeared to be a key participant in a gang engaged in cybercrime. His alleged role in devising and executing the fraudulent scheme suggested that he played a central role, possibly as the mastermind. As such, his custodial interrogation was essential to uncover broadly added one hard mishap at minimizing John. Court will persist in reason. No major damage to vegetable crops. News from Karnal. Sonipat faces delays in civic health projects amid vacant post. This is from Panipat. Principals to seek approval to avail earned leave for vacation from Rohtak. Crores being looted in name of toll alleges Huda. Protecting runaway couples states primary duty, High Court says from Chandigarh. Flooded with petitions around 90 daily filed by the runaway couples for protection. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has issued 12 commandments to Punjab, Haryana and Chandigarh to check the flow with the creation of a two-tier redressal and appellate mechanism within the police establishment. Once in place, the mechanism could save up to 4 hours of the court's time daily. The direction came as Justice Sandeep Mudgil made it clear that providing care and shelter to the couple was primary and essential duty of the law enforcing agency, and an application or representation received by the police was required to be dealt with utmost urgency and caution. The courts were the last resort. Justice Mudgil asserted the constitutional courts were duty bound to step in for ensuring protection whenever an individual's life and liberty was under threat, but the courts could not be allowed to become the first port of call for every apprehension of the threat. The doctrine of subsidiarity demands that the state's authorities, being the first responders, must act with swiftness, efficiency, and with impartiality to address the grievance. The failure to do so on their part not only burdens the judiciary with a preventable litigation but also dilutes the effectiveness of constitutional remedies, the court asserted. Justice Mudgil directed the appointment of a nodal officer at each district headquarters and a police officer not below assistant sub-inspector's rank at every police station in the 2 states and the UT. The guidelines included the immediate marking of representations to the designated police officers to the nodal officer, followed by a thorough inquiry and opportunity of hearing to both parties and a decision within a stipulated time frame. An appellate authority was also proposed to address grievances arising from the police inquiry, ensuring that the courts were approached only after exhausting administrative remedies. Justice Mudgil added that 4 hours of court time daily being saved following adherence to its guidelines could be better utilized for disposing of old pending cases. Before concluding the matter, the bench directed the forwarding of the order to key officials including the Chief Secretaries, DGPs, Home Secretaries, Advocates General of Punjab, Haryana and Duty, Senior Standing Counsel. They were directed to formulate a mechanism based on the guidelines before circulating it within 30 days. A compliance report was also directed to be submitted within a week thereafter. And A1 still short of land for 15 highway projects. News from Ludhiana. Kheer ka halwa to be served in midday meal. News from Amritsar. Child marriage bid void in Muxar from Muxar. DSP dismissed for facilitating Bishnoi's in custody interview. He severely dented image of the State Police Department. DGP says on Chandigarh, the Punjab government today dismissed Deputy Superintendent of Police Gursher Singh Sandhu for denting the image of the police department by facilitating a video interview of gangster Lawrence Bishnoi during his custody at the Central Investigation Agency Kharad in March 2023. The Department of Home Affairs issued the dismissal orders following approval by the Punjab Public Service Commission, the appointing authority for the Punjab Police Service cadre officials. Lawrence Bishnoi is the prime conspirator in the Sindhu Musewala case. He also faces over 80 other cases of murder, extortion, etc. The orders read: the Punjab and Haryana High Court has concluded that the Singh Sandhu, PPS Deputy Superintendent of Police under suspension since October 2024, facilitated the recording of an interview of Lawrence Bishnoi by a TV channel while he was in custody of the CIA Kharad. The order said Gurshan had not accepted the charge sheet forwarded to the Commandant 9th Battalion Punjab Armed Police Amritsar with the direction to ensure its delivery to Gursher Singh Sandhu, PPS under suspension. The order noted that the DGP Punjab in his report had stated that Gursher Singh Sandhu had severely dented the image of the department as a result of his misconduct, negligence and dereliction of duty during the occurrence of the interview of Lawrence Bishnoi while in custody of the CIA Kharad. Though the interview took place about 21 months ago, the police investigation into where and how it was conducted was much delayed. Eventually, the police acted on the intervention of the Punjab and Haryana High Court, which ordered strict action against police officials who facilitated the interview. 6 other Punjab police officials, including a DSP, were suspended pending further action for allegedly facilitating the interview of Mr. Lawrence Bishnoi while in police custody. They have also caused notices. Action is awaited against senior police official above the rank of DSP who either failed to check the conduct of the interview or may have been party to that. The interview had created a furor as it happened close to singer Sindhu Musewala's first vote ceremony. The High Court has banned publishing its content. Awaiting concrete proposal from Center Safe Farmers. Dosanjh asked to clarify stand on farm issues. Singer Univ.Dr.RKS meeting with Prime Minister Modi has sparked a controversy with farm leaders seeking a clarification from the artists to make it stand clear on farm issues. Farm leader Sarwan Singh Pandey said Dosanjh should make clear where he took up the issue of farmers' protest with the PM. Punjab has given him a lot of love. We expected him to take up farmers' cause with the PM. From Sangrur, farmer leader Abhi Manu Kohar on Thursday said it is up to the centre how long their protest continues and they will make their stance clear only after getting concrete proposal over their demands from the union government. Farmers are protesting since February last year at the Punjab's Shambhu and Kanoli borders with Haryana, demanding a law guaranteeing minimum support price for their crops and debt waivers. The protest is being superheaded by Samyukt Kisan Morcha, non-political, and the Kisan Mazdoor Morcha, umbrella bodies of farmer and labor groups. The farmer groups have been camping at the border points since February 13 last year when they marched to the national capital Woodstock. When asked, the farmer leader Jagjeet Singh Dhaliwal, whose indefinite fast to press the centre to accept their demands entered 38th day would take medical aid. Kohar said no such discussion was held with the Punjab government appointed panel on Wednesday. The statement came on a day the Supreme Court fixed January 6 as the date of hearing on the request of Punjab government's advocate on providing medical treatment to Dhaliwal. Kohar said they would study the court directions and talk to Dhaliwal before making any statement in this regard. The state government had constituted the panel led by former additional DGP Jaskaran Singh to convince Dhaliwal to end his fast after the apex court on December 20 ordered his hospitalization while expressing concern over his deteriorating health. Regarding the health condition of Dhaliwal, court said his condition was very serious and that he has lost weight, his blood pressure is fluctuating while other health parameters like kidney and liver functioning have also been affected due to prolonged fasting, he added. Meanwhile, farmer leader Lakwinder Singh Olak said to a group of farmers from Maharashtra, Pandiana and another group from Karnataka today reached the Kanori border point to extend their support to the stir. Pandians said they have been holding protests in their state in support of the Dhaliwal's hunger strike for the past several days. Kejriwal's offer of honorarium to Granthis opposed. Clerks suspended for the Tatkal ticket scam. Death penalty merits a rethink. Yemen case should prompt India to reflect on this mode of punishment. Some courts have begun to take the view that sending a person to the gallows may not necessarily be the best solution. Justice Madan B. Lokar, former Judge Supreme Court. The efforts to save an Indian woman on death row in Yemen should make us rethink whether we ourselves ought to continue with the severest of punishments. Nimisha Priya Enas has been found guilty of murder. She allegedly injected the victim, who was known to her, with sedatives while visiting him in jail. So far, attempts to prevent her execution have failed. One last attempt is being made, and that is to offer blood money to the family of the deceased and seek forgiveness. The blood money is said to be $40,000, around rupees 34 lakh. A substantial sum, if not the entire amount, has been raised and deposited by the family with a lawyer. The financial part seems to have been taken care of only. Forgiveness is an attempt to assist the family. We always say that the law take its course, and so it is in the case of this woman. So why is the government extending a helping hand to avert her execution? Is it because the government believes she is not guilty or was not given a fair trial? It is because she is an Indian, and the government will do what it can to save the life of an Indian. Is it because the government feels the punishment is too harsh? Whatever be the reason, the government must be commended for rendering assistance. This case should prompt the government to reflect on the need to have the death penalty on the statute books. After all, when we execute a person, we are taking the life of an Indian citizen. It hardly matters whether the Indian is executed in our country or on foreign soil. True, our courts are circumspect and extremely careful in awarding the death penalty. They do so in the rarest of the rare cases, but would, if not, be proper for the prosecution to refrain from demanding the death penalty? What purpose is served by executing a person? The usual answer when the death penalty is discussed is that it is a deterrent against heinous crimes. Unfortunately, there is no evidence to support that argument. The US has a high number of persons on death row. It also executes a rather large number of them. Has this deterred individuals from committing murders or mass shootings in schools, or most recently the carnage in New Orleans? On the other hand, it appears that despite the abolition of the death penalty, cases of heinous crimes have not increased. France did it in 1981, or 4 decades later. There is no evidence that the count of heinous crimes has risen. Zimbabwe, which abstained from voting on the UN resolution for a moratorium on the death penalty in December last year, has now abolished capital punishment. Let us wait for the impact of this decision. Tens of thousands of rape and murder cases are registered in our country every year. We also have several instances of terror attacks. I believe that in all these cases involving heinous crimes, justice will be served to a great extent if investigations are concluded expeditiously and the trial is completed within a year. For this, some police need to be highly trained to investigate crimes. Our prosecuting authorities and prosecutors should also be fully equipped with solid and scientific evidence. In a recent case reported by the newspaper, 48 out of 49 witnesses turned hostile. What does this tell us about our criminal justice system? Only that a massive overhaul is needed, but instead of improving our system, there is the demand for the imposition of the several possible punishment. Death defense that wouldn't help us improve the system. Courts across the country need to expedite trials and disposal of appeals in criminal cases so that a conclusion is reached quickly. Perpetrators of the crime, citizens or otherwise, will get the message that they will be hauled up sooner rather than later and will have to serve time to prison. Some courts have begun to take the view that sending a person to the gallows may not necessarily be the best solution. In the recent past, there have been cases in which courts have awarded 20-25 years rigorous imprisonment to a convict instead of the death sentence. Sometimes such long terms of incarceration are awarded without any provision for remission. There have been a few cases in which the convict was sentenced to imprisonment for the rest of his or her life. Is this as bad or as good as the death of penalty? Many countries seem to think so. Don't forget that Abu Slim was extradited from Portugal on the condition that he would not be given the death penalty. There is no doubt that the abolition of the death penalty is a very controversial and tricky subject, particularly in cases of rape, murder, sexual abuse of children, and terror attacks. Nevertheless, we need to discuss this subject safeguard and have some sort of a policy or consensus, otherwise the death penalty may get reduced to a game of chance. Meanwhile, let's pray for governments in Yemen. Quick confidence and lasting impact of MMMs. TB doesn't have an adult vaccine yet. Why not? Quick confidence and lasting impact of MMS. The pairing of politics and professional acumen put India on its upward economic trajectory, and it was Singh who embodied it. Kaushik Basu, former Chief Economic Advisor, COI. The passing of Manmohan Singh, India's Prime Minister from 2004 to 14, has led to an unexpected eruption of nostalgia and appreciation. Singh's modesty and low-key style made it easy for many to overlook his achievements in boosting India's economic growth and elevating its global standing. His death at 92 has thrown a spotlight on an impressive record. Singh will be remembered as one of the world's most important and most unlikely political leaders. I first met him in the late 1980s in the East Delhi housing complex where my family lived at the time. Singh had finished his term as governor of the Reserve Bank of India and was looking to buy a simple apartment in our locality. A friend of mine called to ask if he could bring Singh to see us. Singh came and met us and chatted with my mother, but he never moved to the area because soon thereafter he was appointed Secretary General of the South Commission in Geneva, and after that in 1991 he became India's Finance Minister. In 2004 my mother called him excitedly, informing me that the soft-spoken, unassuming Singh had just become India's Prime Minister. In 2009, when I was chair of the Economics Department at Cornell, Singh invited me quick out of the blue to join his government as Chief Economic Advisor. I agreed, but only if he assured me regular direct access to him. He said he would, and he did. I met with him about once a month and got to know him well during the nearly 3 years in his government. By that point, Singh had already laid the groundwork of India's economic liberation with the most important reforms carried out between 1991 and 1993 when he was Finance Minister. The transformative cumulative effect was evident from the subsequent acceleration in India's economic growth. India's early investment in the science and engineering during this period murdered talent not only in research and development but also in corporate leadership and policy making. Since sharp intellect was guided by a sure moral compass, former US President Barack Obama rightly described him as a person of uncommon wisdom and decency. While the electorate often took this to be a sign of weakness, his modesty was rooted in self-confidence. He felt no need to proclaim his talent from the rooftop. He was unruffled by the criticism and saw no sense in attacking his critics. In 2005, when he visited Delhi's Jawaharlal University, well known for left-wing activism, students with black flags turned out to protest. University authorities were embarrassed and furious and ordered to take strong action against that student. Show cause orders were sent to some student and the Delhi police also detained some. It was Singh who intervened on the students' behalf, arguing that they were exercising their democratic rights. Later in his speech at the university, he quoted the famous aphorism attributed to Voltaire: every member of a university committee, if he or she wishes to aspire to be worthy of the university, must accept the truth of Voltaire's classic statement, I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. That idea must be the cornerstone of a liberal institution. It was the cornerstone of Singh's own political career because he took ethics seriously. He insisted on the highest standard of honesty. When in 2010 inflation was raging, some bureaucrats suggested that it might be best not to hurt his political standing by releasing so much price data. But he put his foot down, insisting there should be no compromise on statistical transparency, even if it dented his poll numbers. This raises a puzzling question. In a world where political success seems to depend so much on intrigue, decision and subterfuge, how did such a person make it to the top? My belief is that he would not have made it on his own. It was the political leadership of the time of that recognized the need for a person of his talents to have a space to craft and implement seemingly unpopular economic policies. This space was provided by then Prime Minister Narasimha Rao's appointment of Singh as Finance Minister in 1991 by Congress Party leader Sonia Gandhi, appointing him as Prime Minister in 2004, and Singh's Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee, who worked closely with him from 2004 to 14 and managed much of the politics. This enabled him not only to design necessary economic reforms but also to implement reform which bolstered India's democracy, such as the Right to Information Act and the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act of 2005, which gave ordinary citizens some potential levers to the whole unit, like getting state accountability. It was this pairing of politics and professional acumen that put India on its upward economic trajectory, and it was Singh who embodied it. Indians today are far better off as a result, and recognizing this are bestowing well-deserved praise on him and his legacy. TB doesn't have an adult vaccine yet. Why not? Tuberculosis remains the leading infectious cause of death in the world. including India. According to the Global TB Report 2024, an estimated 1.8 million people fell ill with TB in 2023 and 1.25 million died. India accounted for 26% of the world's cases and an unequal percentage of global TB deaths in 2023, the highest for any country. In 2015, 194 countries adopted the WHO anti-TB strategy, committing themselves to end the disease by 2030. As part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, India set 2025 as a target year for TB elimination, 5 years ahead of the global target of 2030. The anti-TB strategy aims to achieve the targets of 80% reduction in TB incidence rate and 90% reduction in the number of TB deaths with 2015. Despite a very high level of political commitment and increased financial resources over the past few years, the progress in TB control has globally remained rather slow, with only a few years to go. India too will surely miss its 2025 target of TB elimination. There are several possible reasons for this slow progress. Most important among them is the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to the widespread disruption in healthcare, including TB drugs supplies and redirection of human resources to address the pandemic. This severely hampered active TB case detection, diagnosis and treatment, thereby reversing the gains made in the recent past. The global deaths due to TB in 2021 increased for the first time after experiencing the declining for many years. The treatment of TB takes 6 months, but adherence to regular intake of medicine over such a long duration often becomes challenging for many patients. Also, TB comes in different forms: latent infection, which may remain dormant for years, subclinical and clinical TB. Each of these forms requires different tests to diagnose. Many patients latently reflected with TB are in fact unaware that they have the disease, as they may not exhibit the TB symptoms. Drug resistance too is an alarming obstacle to TB prevention and cure, making the treatment harder, expensive and longer to complete. Treatment of multi-drug resistant TB, MDR-TB, is complicated and takes up to 3 years. Plus, interaction between TB and HIV is a challenge to health, and HIV infection can complicate the management of TB in many ways. HIV-associated TB often presents as extra pulmonary disease and sputum negative. Thus, diagnosis by sputum examination becomes difficult. The TB-HIV interaction increases the rate of drug resistance and enhances the risk of complications. These factors make the fight against TB more challenging. The most critical issue, however, is the lack of an effective adult vaccine. It has for long been a critical hindrance in the fight against TB. The only licensed vaccine presently available is the Bacil Calmette-Guerin BCG vaccine, which does prevent severe infection among children, but its efficacy against pulmonary TB in adults is limited. As of January 2024, there were only 17 TB vaccine candidates listed in the active clinical trials pipeline. This is in stark contrast to the rapid and extensive development of vaccines seen during the COVID-19 pandemic, which took less than a year to develop and be used as an effective public health intervention. Thus, the target of TB elimination cannot be achieved without substantial technological breakthrough and their wide application in government programs. Top priorities for research and innovation include the development of rapid point of care tests for diagnosing TB. Among them are rapid molecular tests, which are highly accurate and faster than traditional or conventional microbiological tests. These improved tests can be performed near the patient or in the community-based health centers. They provide quick results, thereby helping in timely treatment. These tests should detect TB and resistance simultaneously, addressing the important and substantial problem of missing cases or the patients hidden in the municipality. Community requires innovative approaches to reaching them in diagnosis and treatment. Such cases have the potential to infect others in the community. Besides active case finding, population-based mass screening to detect those suffering from TB must be actively explored. Screening should be targeted at high-risk groups such as the elderly, prison inmates, and those with HIV infection to get a higher yield. Early detection of TB and swift initiation of treatment can greatly reduce the burden of the disease, risk of poor treatment outcome, and adverse socio-economic consequences. The development of shorter and safer treatment regimens for treating TB infection and TB disease, especially drug-resistant TB, is an important clinical research priority. India has recently approved a new, shorter, and more efficacious treatment regimen for MDR-TB. It can cure TB in 6 months as compared to the traditional methods, which take up to 2 years and have severe side effects. New TB vaccine could accelerate disease elimination. TB vaccine could accelerate disease elimination by breaking the cycle of transmission, improving health equity, vaccine that is effective before and after TB exposure, and in all age groups. With many candidate vaccines presently in the pipeline, the possibility of a new vaccine in the near future looks brighter. This endeavor must be supported and present suitably financed. Greater emphasis needs to be placed on more effective infection prevention and control activities, stronger surveillance to detect new cases, especially those with drug-resistant TB, community engagement in case detection and compliance with treatment and nutrition, and finally greater programmatic outreach for vulnerable populations as part of the universal health coverage. There is real hope that development and wider application of these tools and innovative mechanisms can accelerate TB elimination in developing countries like India, which carries the highest TB burden in the world. News from Jammu and Kashmir. CN Hope UT status temporary dual power centers of Novgorod says before moving forward, center must be given chance to restore statehood. Counter-terror opposites down since 18 MHA. Kashmir integral part of country 370. Abrogation reinforced bond, said Shah. From New Delhi, Home Minister Amit Shah today said Kashmir was and would always be an integral part of the country. He emphasized no legislation could change this fact, pointing out that despite attempts to grant the region special status to Article 370, the provision was ultimately abrogated, reinforcing the region's enduring bond with the country. Shah made these remarks at the launch of a book, J&K and Ladakh, a historical narrative of continuity and connectivity. He praised the efforts of the National Book Trust and Indian Council of Historical Research for challenging the long-standing myth that India was never a unified nation. Many people accepted this falsehood, but no probing further. It has come to light that India is a geocultural country whose boundaries are bound by varied cultures. Similarly, untruths were spread about J&K and Ladakh, but after research by these bodies, it has been clearly proven that these two regions, which are now UTs, have always been integral parts of India. Shah said at the event where Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan was also present. History during the period of the British was written to please the rulers, and now time has come to scrap such history, and I appeal to historians and scholars that they should present the country's history based on facts and research, said, referring to the abrogation of Article 370 over 2019. Shah said provisions that are temporary and unnatural don't last long, and it was due to the strong will of the government that this forgettable chapter of India's history was closed. Long files petition against misuse of police verification from Srinagar, counter-terror opponents down since 18 MHA from New Delhi. News from the world. Bangladesh court rejects Hindu monk's bail plea. New Orleans terror attack suspects was inspired by IS. Gaza top cop around 43 killed in Israeli airstrikes. Park reduces pension benefits of civil armed forces personnel. News from the nation. BSF allowing infiltration to destabilize Bengal, Mumta says. Nitish's cryptic response to Dalu Store's open remark. CISF tweaks HR policy in bid to prevent suicides. Union Carbide factory waste will not impact environment. MPCL say. Amit Rao Modi sends charter for Ajmer Shrine. From New Delhi, President Modi on Thursday presented a charter to be offered on his behalf at the Ajmer Sharif Dargah on the 83rd URS of Khwaja Monuddin Chishti. The URS marks annual commemoration of the Sufi saint. The PM presented the charter to Union Minority Affairs Minister Kiran Rijizu, who will be traveled to Ajmer to present the ceremonial charter. The 11th such delegation by Modi since he became the PM. The PM offering for the Dargah comes close on the heels of record in Ajmer issuing notices in a civil suit claiming a Shiva temple under the Dargah. New Delhi, the Supreme Court said it would hear a plea against an order on the survey of a medieval era Bhojshala in MP, which people from two communities stake claims to apart from pleas against 1991 places for worship law. Reason rules amended to end caste-based discrimination from New Delhi. The Ministry of Home Affairs has amended the Model Prison Manual to address the issue of caste-based discrimination of the inmates in compliance with the recent Supreme Court verdict. In order last year, the prison bench of CJI Deputy Chandrachud and Justices J.B. Pediwal Pardiwal and Manoj Misra directed to Central and State to revise their prison manuals and rules to address caste-based discrimination in prison. According to the new edition in the manual, the prison authorities will have to strictly ensure that there is no discrimination, classification or segregation of prisoners on the basis of their caste. Ministry noted that the provisions of the prohibition of employment as manual scavengers and their Rehabilitation Act 2013 shall have a binding effect even in prisons and correctional institutions. Manual scavenging or hazardous cleaning of sewer or a septic tank inside the prison shall not be permitted itself. The MHA has also announced that it will replace the existing definition of habitual offender in the Model Prison Manual 2013 and the Model Prisoner and Correctional Service Act 2023. From now onwards, a habitual offender would mean a person who during any continuous period of 5 years has been convicted and sentenced to imprisonment on more than 2 occasions on account of one or more offence committed on different occasions and not constituting parts of the same transaction such as sentence not have been reversed in appeal or review. Maldives Minister in Delhi as FTA with China kicks in. Union Carbide Factory waste will not impact on MPCM. Health centers get advanced lab equipment for diagnosis. News from Karnal. In a major boost to healthcare infrastructure across the state, the health department has installed 29 advanced 3-part cell machines at all primary health centers and community health centers. These machines, part of the public health laboratory initiative, will analyze blood sample for complete blood count (CBC). Each machine costing rupees 3.5 lakh is currently undergoing trial, with resulting being evaluated for efficiency and accuracy. Once fully operational, these machines will eliminate the need for patients to visit private hospitals or labs for basic blood tests. The authorities claimed that these machines would enhance diagnostic capabilities in health institutions. Besides, this step is expected to provide timely medical interventions at local health centers. A majority of the PHCs and CHCs lack facilities of these basic tests, due to which the patients often face challenges accessing timely diagnostic care. The CBC machine have been installed at the CHCs at Balak, Kunjpura, Nigdu, Tarauri and Peta. Additionally, equipped with these machines include Barsa, Badsan, Chora, Kaksina, Guda, Jalmana. Sonia elected Kathal Jila Parishad Vice Chairperson. 24-year-old dies by suicide outside police post Cope among 3 booked from Panipat. Motor mechanics said to be shifted to newly constructed auto market. architect of modern Indian space science. Satish Dhawan, regarded as the father of experimental fluid dynamics research in India, was a visionary aerospace engineer, educator and leader who revolutionized India's space research. Born on January 3, 1920 in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir, Dhawan's life was a testament to intellect, perseverance and dedication. He was a brilliant student with an insatiable curiosity for science and engineering. He pursued his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Punjab and then moved to the US for higher studies. He earned a master's degree in aerospace engineering from the University of Minnesota, followed by a second master's PhD in aeronautics and mathematics from the California Institute of Technology. His research on boundary layer theory and fluid mechanics established his expertise in the field. In 1972, he was appointed the chairman of the India Space Research Organization, succeeding Vikram Sarabhai, the founding father of India's space program. Under his leadership, ISRO witnessed the transformation, laying the foundation for India's modern space capabilities. Dhawan emphasized self-reliance, innovation and long-term planning, which set ISRO on the path to becoming a global leader in the space research. He reorganized ISRO into a cohesive organization with well-defined responsibilities, focusing on indigenous technology development. Dhawan's tenure saw the launch of India's first satellite, Aryabhatta in 1975, marking India's entry into the space age. He balanced the approach between scientific research and application-oriented programs like remote sensing and satellite communication had a lasting impact. He was not only an administrator but also a pioneering scientist who made significant contributions to the field of aerodynamics, particularly in boundary layer theory and high-speed flows. His experimental work in fluid dynamics conducted at the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, when he served as the director from 1962 to 1981, remains highly influential. He arrested in cases of vehicle theft in Karnal. CDRU receives boost with 6.25 crore rupees from annual grant, registrar and power to streamline operations, reduce delays. So the University Sirsa has received a significant boost with the third installment of rupees 6.25 crore from its annual rupees 25 crore government grant. This funding will be used to resolve pressing issues such as clearing pending salaries of contractual employees, unpaid utility bills and resuming settled stalled projects. In a move to streamline operations and reduce delays, the university has enhanced the powers of its registrar. The new arrangement allows the registrar to directly approve payments for salaries, utility bills and other routine expenses, eliminating the need for prior approvals and speeding up administrative processes. This reform is expected to significantly improve the university's efficiency. During his recent visit to the campus, Vice Chancellor Dr. Vineet Garg reviewed the ongoing issues and emphasized the importance of utilizing the funds efficiently. Dr. Garg, who took over the role of Vice Chancellor a month ago, also led a key meeting with faculty, deans and directors, and on December 30, the meeting marked his first visit to the university after assuming charge from the former Vice Chancellor Professor Ajmer Malik, who resigned on November 30, 2024. Dr. Garg, who also served as the additional Chief Secretary of Haryana's Higher Education Department, has been focusing on the development of the university. Dr. Rajesh Bansal clarified that the change in administrative structure did not mean an increase in power for registrar, but rather a delegation of duties from the Vice Chancellor. He explained that without a permanent VC, routine tasks had to be cleared through Chandigarh, leading to delays. The recent reforms from expected to make day-to-day operations more efficient and help in addressing the university's long-standing issues. He pointed out that the university had previously faced delays due to procedural hurdles, including the need for changes, and the university aimed at addressing these challenges and accelerate its development. 3 arrested in case of vehicle theft in Punjab. Expanded cleaning of clogged drains, officials told. DC holds review meeting, public health, engineering and irrigation departments asked to execute works from Hisar. Ex-Congress MLA demand Asand be upgraded to list. From construction of medical college to tackling of stray animals, it's hard to see it all. Improved roads, railways, the construction of an overbridge on the Ganga River bridge near Harikalam village, reduce accidents and traffic congestion, especially for people traveling from Hisar to Sirsa or Double. Additionally, work on Sirsa railway station is almost complete, with 90% of the beautification work done. A third platform and escalators will be added by 2025. The year 2025 has started with new hopes for the people of Sirsa. Many long-awaited demands related to the health, education, development and transportation sectors are expected to be fulfilled this year. Several projects by the municipal council are also in the pipeline, and if approved, work may begin soon. However, the biggest problem in the district remains stray animals. The district administration and local MLA have promised to make it a stray animal free by March, which could bring relief to the people. Looking ahead, 2025 New Year's special. Medical college to come up in 2024. Chief Minister Narsingh Saini started the construction of a medical college in Sirsa costing rupees 1010 crore in 2025. The first phase will see the construction of hospital, administrative block and teaching block. A special cancer treatment center will also be built at a cost of rupees 5.5 crore rupees. The project will improve healthcare facilities in Sirsa and surrounding areas, ease traffic congestion, and book for duping couple of 4.67 lakh rupees. Residents of Textile City look forward to new development projects this year. Looking ahead, 2025 will be special from Panipat. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Nice to see all of you. Thank you.